Have you ever thought about what would be considered as to be so fetch?
What the fuck does that even mean?
Oh, come on, man.
Yay, dude. Wait, really? What is so? Who even uses so fetch?
Gretchen.
What the fuck does that even mean? To
This is
be
not
honest,
expected to start the video. All
yeah,
right.
that is fetch.
So yeah. So we start off with uh, our introduction, I guess. Welcome back to another Reviews Corp podcast. This is episode 26. I'm your good host, Red Devil Los Reviews, and I'm back here again with my good co-host, Unity Review and Analysis. What's up?
Hel- sorry. Hello. I'm just been. This is the final week of my university, and then I'm off. Aside from essays, that's gonna take a long while.
And so you have like a last week of school, then essays.
Yeah, that's how it works for me.
Hmm. Before we continue our topic, just a quick reminder: we have another channel, another Reviews Core podcast, where we archive these videos on that channel. So you would expect this on that channel the next day, April 30th, as well as our Spotify has the same name. Both of these links are in the description down below. And tomorrow is actually a very tomorrow, or I guess today, in that sense, if you're watching it on the 30th, is the same day as the 20th anniversary of our topic, Mean Girls, the 2004 version. It has officially turned 20 years of age, and it's definitely had a big cultural impact. I read the book Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman back when I was in my sophomore year of high school. Um, Mean Girls 2004 was written by Tina Fey. She was inspired by the book after she read it and got Paramount to get the rights to the book to make it a movie. Um, she was basically used that book, a mix of her own experiences from high school as well as some help from her friends at SNL to create one of the more modern um, cultural impacts that I would say in the early 2000s. It obviously had a spawn of success that it had like a made for television sequel, Mean Girls 2, that barely anybody watched. It had a Broadway musical inspired by the film in 2018. It was also written with the help of Tina Fey. And then we get to the 2024 musical adaptation based on the Broadway adaptation that was based on the 2004 movie that was inspired by a book. So yeah, a lot of inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. We all know the original movie more than the book itself already. I don't even know that the book is called. Wait, what is it? Oh, what is the book called again?
Queen Bees and Wannabes.
Wow, that was a. Wait, what the fuck happened? Sorry.
Yeah,
Um, just that's definitely not my phone ringing because I accidentally opened Spotify. Totally not.
hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you were talking about the title of the book was Queen Bees and Wannabes.
Yeah. That's that's what I heard. It's like it's Queen Bees and Wannabes, and I don't think I heard enough anything about the book.
Yeah, so basically the book is kind of like a kind of like a parent's guide to what, like, for raising a teenage daughter, and like, things about social cliques and things about like, how do you kind of deal with that sort of aspect, um, or how do you relate to your kid that has like that kind of, they're trying to experience high school for the first time, and how you want to be supportive of them. So that's kind of like what that book is. So it's not really like Mean Girls has like aspects, but it is just like inspired by the idea of what that book is representative of. So that's kind of the gist of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, most of the story just comes from Tina Fey mixing her personal high school experiences, and then also, obviously, like, she had like a lot of friends from SNL that came over, like Tim Meadow, who plays the principal, Amy Poehler, who played Regina's mom, uh, and also one of I believe Coach Carr was another one. But yeah, and then I believe the producer of SNL also directed the movie. So yeah,
Huh.
she definitely had a lot of inspirations and help for this particular movie. Um, but yeah, yeah, Mean Girls was definitely like a film that I would consider to be a cultural icon. I mean, you have a lot of memes that are very popular. Um, like, you can't sit with us, or she doesn't even go here, or on Wednesdays we wear pink. Things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like a lot of those memes are still popular to this day.
yeah.
Um,
It's.
yeah.
I'll say this. Do you know that before writing Mean Girls, Tina Fey's writing credits are writing Saturday Night Live stuff and some quiz shows.
Yeah.
The first screenplay she made it a complete an icon, and everyone still talks about it today.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now there are some dated aspects of the film, things that have not aged well, particularly some of the racism jokes. Um, you know, as to be kind, I guess it shouldn't be expected because it wasn't appropriate back then. It shouldn't be appropriate now. But like, yeah, and then obviously there's some homophobia jokes. There's some the R word being used. So it's like, yeah, it's obviously dated in that aspect. But like the overall core story with Katie Heron, played by played by Lindsay Lohan, um, who is like a girl who lived most of her life in Africa, and she's coming over to the United States to go to high school, which is a very different experience altogether, and how she's basically trying to deal with things like a typical high school girl would go through. She's learning all about like how social statuses work in school. She's learning about how the different ways that people view each other in the classroom setting or like in the lunchroom setting. And while she's like clueless and naive at the beginning of the movie, uh, she gets put under Regina, the queen bee of the school, played by Rachel McAdams, brilliantly. Um, and she basically is you like the thing about Regina that makes her so iconic, even to this day, is that she is so good at like playing a somebody who can be your friend in one moment and then strike like a venom viper in the next. She's just so good at like really tackling that your emotions that you can't really trust, like, what exactly is she going to do next. And that's something that I feel like when we get to other versions of Regina, especially the Broadway version, but and a bit of the 2024 version, you'll really see that it's just really difficult to capture what made Regina work so well the first time around. And then not to mention like the fact that Regina George and then Allie Hamilton in gosh, I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, it's a lot of things to remember from Mean Girls. It's like,
The Notebook. Yeah, just like
yeah,
if you compare it, like 2004, Rachel McAdams was on fire with like Regina George from Mean Girls and then Allie Hamilton in The Notebook, and it's like they're both completely different characters, but like they're both very iconic to this day. It's just kind of it's just crazy to me, and like we've praised Rachel McAdams a lot on this channel before, so we're not really surprised. Um, but yeah, like definitely this movie has a lot to do with Regina and Katie's relationship, but obviously even like some of I mean even like Gretchen played by Lacey Chabert, um, she had a lot to do. Amanda Seyfried didn't have as much to do. She was just playing the ditz. This is her first role in a movie ever, so to be fair, that makes sense. Um, but yeah, but definitely like, but these are some names that you like became icons after this movie, uh, or really set the tone for their careers moving forward. So that's what I found really neat as well. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So that's a there's like a lot of the plot rundowns. Just to be clear, that's basically the aside from the actor's name, that's the plot for that movie, the Broadway show, and the 2024 version are all the same. With if you list down the plot beats, it's basically the same.
yeah. I would say like there are some additions in the Broadway musical that I did like, or at least like I like some ideas that they tried to add in. Now, obviously, like with a Broadway musical, there are some things like it's just like they put a song about every little piece of detail, or things of that nature. I mean, there are. I think one thing that kind of worked in the musical's favor is like in the original movie, Katie has a lot of monologuing for like inner monologues where she's speaking to the audience about her point of view, like her feelings about things that she agrees with, disagrees with, or her observations and such. So the musical is able to take that while making it in the sense of a music of what she's doing, but she's able to at least convey some kind of emotions by using the aside, like in theater when they ask you to speak to the audience directly, but the other characters can't hear you because you're that aside. So she's doing that from time to time, where she's explaining herself or she's singing her emotions. It kind of helps give that idea. Where the problem with the 2024 version, that is an adaptation of the musical, 2018 musical, is that they don't really do that, despite the point of it being an adaptation of the musical. So it's like you don't really get that much of Katie and her perspectives really in the 24 movie, but we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, let's just get it. Take it
Uh,
as
but
as
I
a
think the one addition I did like with the musical at least was one of the connections she was at, like when honestly, like I think Aaron was done a lot better in the musical than he was in both movies. Now, in the whole point with Aaron is really just that she's just a guy that Katie finds interesting, and that's basically it. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But I feel like the musical at least put more characterization into Aaron's feelings between Regina and Katie, and then also like to the point where when they get to the dance and Aaron is like trying to help Katie, even though she like completely like manipulated him or did anything against him, like you were able to at least buy his change, um and then when they do share a kiss in in the musical, like it feels more earned. And one of my favorite interactions with the two of them is like when in the original, Aaron goes to Katie's room, sees the picture of her like holding a crocodile, and then Katie gets embarrassed about it, even though that sounds like the coolest thing ever. Um, but I digress. But she's like, she's like, do you miss like Kenya? It's like, yeah, all the time. It's like, even though she's trying not to admit that because it sounds bad, like, oh, I don't like it here in America. It's like, oh, I just miss like how many stars are up there, and then they tie it back in the last song where it's like, I see stars, as one of the songs. So it's like it's a good connection that like she didn't really see the stars in while she was here in America, but then towards the end of the movie or the musical where she's like more uh, connected with her friends and other fellow students, like she finally can see the stars that are more in the metaphorical sense. So I did appreciate that. But yeah, um, I guess for you, since you're more into the musical or Broadway
Theater.
or
Yeah.
aspects of that, I guess how did you I guess from mixing that as being a theater student, like what did the Broadway musical do that either worked or didn't work for you?
How do I even explain this? I don't think most of the things even work in that musical. I was like, I don't know how much times I face palm because it's like when you really break down the lyrics, it's quite stupid. I mean, yeah, it sounds nice, but there's a literally a song like, "Hey, I'm Regina George," and this song is supposed to show like, "I want the I want to watch the world burn." Wow, that is a complete misunderstanding of her motivation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are some dumb songs, definitely.
That was supposed to be her introduction song,
Yeah, at
and
least
you,
the 2024 version put it at the end.
it's a lot of stupid things because it's like, I mean, I don't mind it's like there's a lot of songs just like, hey, do you want to? What is this song about? Oh, we're gonna have a Halloween party. Uh, thank you. I don't need that song. But to be fair, most Broadway actually fell for that because like, oh, well, we need something exciting. Throw a
Yeah,
song.
I
I was
have
like,
noticed that like "Sexy" is like one of the most like the song that a lot of people pick as like one of their favorite songs of the musical. Like if people were to pick one, I guess it's more because of I think the one thing I liked about it was like how it took advantage of being a musical. So like you had like the actress who played Karen would like go on stage. She would talk about like I want Halloween every day and I want world peace. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I think world peace has to be first. Let me try that again. Then she walks off stage, cuts to black, like dims all the lights. Then she comes back in and sings the song again. I think it's a good way to take advantage of the medium that it is a musical, stuff like that. But like I think that's what people like about it. At least that the performance was. But
oh, most
that's my analysis of that.
okay. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um.
basically, when most people go watch a Broadway show, I don't know what to say because a lot of people just kind of fell for the music. I like the Broadway version I watched is like everyone just is just laughing on stage, like in the theaters. Like it's like happens to every single show.
Yeah.
When you really break it down, it's like, oh, that was horrible. It's like I don't know. It's so weird because there are some really good musicals right there. It's like Tick Tick Boom is still one of my favorites. But even the most classic ones, I was actually stunned by how bad it is. If not because some songs are just really that good. It literally holds the entire musical together.
Yeah. I know that there were some songs where it's like you really don't need to make that a musical. You could have just said it in a few lines and that's it. Or you didn't have to break out into song and dance. But that's like I guess like it's more for padding's sake. I know like obviously it's going to be a little bit difficult because the 2024 version is now like something we could like latch onto, especially since that came out in January. One of my big factors with that is like there are some songs where I feel like they should have used that over the songs that they picked. But like I feel like some of it might have came down to like maybe it's tough because Anguri Rice, who was cast as Katie for the 2024 version, she is not really a professional singer, especially when you. I mean, when we saw the list of cast names that were there, Renee Rapp, Louis Cravlo, uh, even like Damien's actor, like these are like known singers. So it's like, and then Anguri is just like she's playing Katie, the lead of the movie, and but she's not like a singer. And that's kind of my guess is like they probably changed like Roar, which Roar is like a good song in the sense of like it establishes Katie. It also establishes like her time in Africa, and it also establishes like you know the wanting desire of wanting more, but like not really sure what that is yet. So it's like, but then they change it for like some generic song like "What If." Um, but I don't know if it's more because of like because Anguri cannot reach the notes or like the way that the song is sung because obviously it's kind of tough like when you go from regular acting to Broadway singing on a dime. So it's
Uh,
kind of I
to,
don't know. It's kind of tough. Yeah.
to be honest, I'm gonna be honest here. Some people can't. Some people has horrible voice. This is not a criticism because I'm sorry. Some actors, some performers, or some people in general, just like you don't have that vocal range. And I know people who train for vocals for 10 years still sound horribly.
Yeah. I again I don't want to knock on Gloria Rice. It's more like because like I do think she has some good scenes in the movie, but like just strictly from a performance standpoint. But then even some cases, I feel like they've kind of dumbed her version of Katie down in the sense that like I feel like she's more of a reactionary character and not really like a character that is experiencing things in the moment. But like I think the biggest factor to me is like when so for a comparison, since we'll bring it back to Mean Girls 20th anniversary, um, when they do the Jingle Bell Rocks song, obviously all the girls are in their costumes. They have the music playing in a radio and or in a boombox, and then they are dancing. They're dancing. They're doing their song, and then all of a sudden, Gretchen accidentally kicks it, and then it causes it to break. And after she kicks it into somebody by accident, uh, so what happens is like everything is awkward, everything is silent. But then Katie, she goes out of her way to actually sing the song to the point where all the audiences like they join in with her, and like it brings up the vibe and it brings back the energy for the dance to continue even after something awkward like that. So and then right after that is where you have everybody praising Katie. It's like, damn, like she's really cool. Like she did a lot of she was able to work on her feet and she might be better than Regina George in that sense. Like that's where you get that montage. In this movie, the 2024 movie, where they do the Jingle Bell Rocks, Katie's put in the back of the dance number. So it's like, but then everybody just says that, oh, Katie was amazing. But you didn't really get to see that. You didn't see how she did that. So it's like it's one of those things where they take an element from the original source material, but they don't understand why did that work in the first place. It worked in the first place because Katie, when it was awkward and silent and nobody knew what to do, Katie took the lead and sang the song to continue the number. Whereas in the 2024 version, Katie doesn't do anything special, but she's still getting the praise as if she did something. So yeah, there's it's stuff like that. And then the biggest thing about 2024 Katie is just like I feel like she just doesn't really have like I never really got the sense that she transformed from an innocent girl to somebody who's like a mean girl. Like I never really got that sense that like she's able to. It's tough because like she's clearly missing some aspects, and I don't know if it's because we don't want our protagonist character to have mean traits, but I don't know. It's just like I never really got that sense. Where compared to Lindsay Lohan's version in 2004,
It
you could
yeah,
definitely see
yeah.
that transition between different phases of her arc.
It's it's kind of weird because they really rushed it. Even the Broadway version, I was like, wow, that was fast. Uh, it's kind of just like she's mean, and then she just hangs out, and she's like, she asks them to say, oh, what's it called? That person is gay. I was like, wait, where did that came from? She just suddenly mean for no reason. Like not Katie is suddenly mean for no reason, and afterwards, it's like it's not even that fast. Here's the thing: the Broadway version has a lot of songs,
Yeah,
and it just like they're literally fighting for screen time. I was like, wow. And then Katie just, how to say it? It's like before the Halloween sequence, Katie already decided, hey, this is the bar that I used to feed animals. It's like, oh, maybe she used this as Regina. I was like, oh, that was also fast. What happened?
yeah. Uh, Speaking of the Halloween scene, I think like for the 2004 version, one thing I did kind of like, at least like they added more to trying to make Janice, Damien, and Katie more friendly, like how she would react to, oh, this is the things I did with Aaron trying to get his attention or trying to talk to him, make excuses to talk to him and stuff like that. So it's like there's more of it, and then they do it a few times where they even straight up says that we've been doing this for weeks. So so you get that sense that like they do try to interact with each other, and it's not just about like fuck Regina and all this stuff. So I can appreciate it for that sense. Like it added a little bit more on that side. Whereas like in the 2004 version, you don't really get too much about their individual friendships with each other. Um, I mean, obviously there is the attempt where like when everything is over, Regina has lost all of her cool, and like lost her body, lost her friends, lost Aaron. Then it's like, all right, it's over. We got our revenge. Why don't you just come to my art show? So it's like there is an attempt there, but like obviously this is at a point where Katie's like obsessed with continuing the, like continuing to backstab Regina when it's not really necessary anymore. So yeah, so
Uh,
there's things like that. But yeah, I could see like the 2004 2024 version having a little bit more with those characters. But I don't know. But like, if we go character by character, I think that might be the easiest thing to do for this kind of
yeah,
movie. Um, you can definitely see the differences.
yeah. I,
You are a mean girl. Wait, say that again.
uh,
The incredible, not incredible, fantastic four meme, fan four stick meme.
yeah. What a weird movie. Like this is like I don't even know what to say. It's like, to be honest, I if they say that in the 2024 movie, I was like, I would not be surprised.
The Mean Girls. Oh, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. The the only drop where you get Mean Girl was like when like in the 2004 version you had Katie saying like it's not my fault that you seem to be in love with me or something. And then it's like, oh, you're just like Regina George. At least Regina and I know that we're mean girls, but you are a mean. You are something like that. It's like you're trying to act all innocent when you're not. You're just as mean as her. You're also a mean girl. So it's like, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I I actually believe that arc for Katie in the 2004 movie because like you actually see. I think one of the biggest things that movie did that the 2024 version doesn't do is like for example the four-way call with the four of them, because like originally Katie was involved in a three-way call where Regina calls Katie and she's like, oh, like Gretchen told me that you know you like Aaron. It's like, oh, sorry about that. And it's like, no, that's okay. It's like, but don't you aren't you mad at Gretchen for like for telling me that's kind of a bitchy thing to do? It's like I guess it's like not fair, but I mean it's fine with me. And then obviously Gretchen responds, yeah, she's not mad at you. And then yeah, so she survived her three-way call. And then obviously when Katie gets more confident, Katie gets in a three-way call with Regina on the other side of the conversation, where Regina is unaware that uh, Katie's trying to have her talk through Gretchen through her. So it's like, so it just shows you like how, Katie is like changing emotionally and strategically when it comes to like where she's basically trying to overtake Regina's role, even though she's not trying to at the same time. If that makes sense.
Uh, I mean, it's like I just think that they just want to play this. Actually, Katie is doing it because she doesn't realize she is actually being turning mean. Until she just realized she's made into a mean girl because of the influences.
Right.
It's like, here's the thing. The movie tries to argue. The movie didn't just say being mean is bad. It's also exploring, okay, how would people got mean, and just like how people influences other people, and how you can still redeem yourself after that. It's like, and the thing is, I think 2024 version was like doesn't really try much about it, even though they technically have the same ideas. They just put actually she's nice, but because Regina George has stuff. That's why she's not me. That's why she's still innocent, even though she's also bullying other people. It's like I wasn't sure about that part.
Yeah, I think another good thing to compare about Regina, especially for both versions, is the cafeteria scene. So, for example, I don't really like how the 2024 version has Regina like sitting and Katie is standing up. I guess it's like it sounds like a nitpick, but like I guess it's like that power dynamic. Like you don't really get a sense that like Regina is like she's saying mean things, quote unquote, to the guy. It's like that's one of the jokes that was from the Broadway version where the guy is trying to say like, "Oh, why don't you jump so I can guess your bra size?" And then it's like, nobody cares. Nobody likes you. You have that weird deep voice, and it's like, who wants him to go back to his normal voice? Like that joke is from the Broadway one. Is like, bitch,
Mm.
like he has a high voice instead. So
Uh,
yeah, but like I don't know the calculated nature of 2004 Regina is like she's there and like she says like why don't I know you? It's like shut up, shut up. It's like it's like you're really pretty. It's like thanks, and they're like oh so you agree with that, right? So it's like you feel like you can feel the cunning and calculated nature of 2004 Regina, where the 2024 version is like that's kind of the problem when you do a complete pull through of the dialogue from like you're ripping it off basically to the point where you're not getting that genuine reaction. You're just doing it because the old version did this and we're trying to do it again. I don't know, but I guess that's the problem with the adaptations in general.
it's weird because if you go through the Broadway version, it's they basically just go, why are you this? They basically just have Regina George just like, oh hi, you're a new girl, come sit with us. I was like, wow, is that it? Why did you want her to join you?
Yeah, that's why it was important in 2004. It's like they see her getting like because the guy's saying like, "Do you want us to butter your buns?" So it's like So then she like that's what Regina notices. Then she tells him to go away, and then that's what gets her to sit down with them. So, but yeah, it's like, but here it's like, oh, you're new. Why don't we just have you come over? I guess. So it's one of those things where it's like they try to do the thing that sets it up, but they do it after the thing that set it up, so it doesn't make sense anymore. It's one of those things. We've been talking about a lot of adaptations related content in this podcast lately, where it's like, yeah, that's just a common theme nowadays.
Yeah, let me tell you. When it comes to Broadway, they most of it are just dialogues. You barely can most if you look at the scripts, most of them don't even have action scenes. Not action, just like movements. Just because like here's the thing. In the movie, the director just controls everything. That there's her script writer do whatever. In playwrights, they basically hand you the script already. The same script is gonna be used over and over by different people. So the director just fall off whatever it means and just ran with it. And and they could just misunderstand the text a lot of the times. So I'll say this: look at the text. I say you have to look at the script itself before you look at this play. And that being said, the play doesn't really try to explain anything. If you go through the script, it's a
Yeah,
lot of dialogues and just like, oh, how do you? Well, isn't that contrivance? They're like, there's no plot beats in it, not plot beats. There's no action taken. Like, okay, can this character got here in time and stuff? You just have to rely on. Yeah, they say it.
yeah. One of my things about the I guess like in that aspect is that when when we get to things like Katie's showing the plastics tell her to come to their house, they to get new shoes and all that stuff, and like they show her the burn book, which is like it's kind of weird that the mom, like Regina's mom, so the Broadway version and the 2024 version has it where the mom knows about the burn book, knows that it's bullying everybody, like, but that's just, I guess it's just accepted. um it's a little weird for me. The 2004 version, where it's just Regina's private thing, she's the one that shows it openly. It's like that just makes more sense to me. I don't know.
Uh, it's here. I just find it so weird to actually even talk about this. Because it's like it, the Broadway and the movie version isn't it's like really similar to each other. There's not much really you can tell they are different. I mean, the biggest difference is that the Broadway has 25 songs and the movie has 13 songs.
I will say though, like, but some of those extra songs that the Broadway version had, at least like comparing the Broadway to 2024, is that some of those songs just makes Katie more of a three-dimensional character, or at least more dimensions than whatever Katie was in 2024. So it's like, I mean, but like, I guess it's like a really minor thing, because at the end of the day, we're just comparing music to music. But like at the same time, like some of those extra songs that gave more personality to Katie, or like they gave more of an understanding of who she is as a person. 2024 Katie, I don't really know that much about her outside that she likes Aaron. That's about it. She's put as a plastic. People think she's really cool, but we don't really see why they got to think she was cool. We don't really get to see how much things impacted her, or like how much like she made a difference with whatever was given, or whatever hardships she had to go through. And then like the conclusion, like I think like one of the biggest things is uh it's hard because like it's comparing performances, and I don't like doing that because it's not fair to Angori when you compare it to Lindsay's performance back in 2004. But that speech to everybody, I just love like the little things that like Lindsay was able to do with Katie, like like where she points out two people in the audience, like saying like that dress looks amazing. Your hair, it must have taken you like hours to get that right, and you look really pretty. It's like I think doing little things like that is like it helps you like really it really captures like she's trying to connect to her audience by actually pointing examples out. Whereas like 2024, she's just kind of saying everything that's there, but she's not really. It's tough because like it's just not like she just feels like she's just repeating things that were said before and not. It doesn't feel like a natural thing that somebody was going to probably say. So things like that.
Uh, it's, that's like one of the many problems of that character. Yeah, it's like she's being pushed along by a plot and just like, oh, by the way, do this. It's like she doesn't really have any desire, and just the plot basically bends around to just fit her needs. It's like, oh, okay, shit. She has to say do something mean. Someone else do something mean first. I was like, oh, that's a plan, I guess. It's like they really try to just save Katie in this movie. Even the Broadway version, you can really tell they're trying to save her.
Yeah. I think it's just a common thing. We can't have flaws in our main characters. That just seems to be like a common theme nowadays with a lot of, especially adaptations lately. Like Avatar is a very prime example that we talk about all the time. But it's very obvious. Like there's just so many things that could be interesting. Character flaws are just gone because we can't have them for our main characters. They're the heroes, right? If they have any sort of flaws, they're who's gonna like them? So yeah, I don't know. It happens all the time now.
Yeah, that's oh
And
oh well, it happens.
yeah, I think it's also very telling for 2024's version is that the marketing was solely on Renee Rapp, and obviously Renee Rapp has played Regina George in the Broadway version as well. Not like she wasn't the main one. She was a recast version of one, but she still has played the role before, so I'll still give her credit, of course.
Which
Uh,
is
it's
I
cool. It's cool. Uh, she fun fact she shared the screen with Sabrina Carpenter as Katie, so that's pretty interesting.
uh it's kind of weird because even I never heard of the Mean Girls Broadway version before I look at the casting. I was like, wait, what? There's a musical of Mean Girls?
Yeah,
Why have I never heard of it?
I have done some research, and it's like Broadway does has done recently like so many. Like let's just take. I guess this is like something to like in the late 2010s, early 2020s. It's like there's just been like a rise of let's just make musicals of any movie classic. You got like Shrek the musical. You got Mean Girls the musical. Uh, yeah, it's like I don't know.
Uh,
It's just like
let
let's just make everything a musical now. It's like okay, I guess.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say this is a bad thing because Heather's the musical and Legally Blonde the musical are still being talked to this day.
Oh
If
yeah, yeah.
this is not a negative.
Yeah, though Heather's has a remake, and that remake is not good. But at least the musical was good. So
Yeah, even the Heather's movie is weird to say the least.
I've seen people refer Heather's over Mean Girls. I've never really done it myself, but
Uh, Here's the thing that
or at least the
Heather's
original Heather's. Yeah.
Heather's is about how there's a there's a I mean they try to have the same concept of, oh, this girl is being more evil, but the thing is the character played by Christian Slater.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, how do I describe it? He's straight up evil. He literally tried to burn down the entire school,
yeah.
which is like, which is like, wow, why we do that? I don't get it. I mean, yeah, your childhood sucks, but that's no excuse to do anything. Uh,
Yeah. So yeah, uh, so it is a little bit difficult. I do understand. Um, that's why I do think like maybe going character by character might be a little bit easier to like kind of at least separate some of these aspects of the plot. Um, I will say like 2024 they completely cut out the dad, which is kind of odd. Like so like Katie is only living with her mom. The dad is like never mentioned at all. But I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal. You can just put all of the traits from him into uh, the mom played by Jenna Fisher, which honestly that's a good casting. I definitely buy that as a mother daughter with Anguri. But I don't know. I felt like, but some of the important conversations like that the dad mentioned in the original, like for
Uh,
example, it's like why does it? Everybody seems to hate me, including my own mom. It's like she doesn't hate you. It's just that she's afraid of you.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, but I mean, there was still like I still like the scene where she's in the bed and like she's just saying like like can't you just like sit here and wait till I go to sleep and then she cries herself to sleep. So it's well done, but I feel like we're still missing some of the uh, connections between the parents, like the importance of her parents in the story as well. So
Uh,
let me just see what Operation is saying. The dad had one of my favorite jokes in 2004. She's out, but she's grounded. She's not allowed out when she's grounded.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's how to say it for this song. It's like, for musical, it's like if you think of because I love so some of the most iconic musicals you can literally point out some of the most popular songs there. When you name a song, people will know that it's from that musical. At least for me, at least me. I mean, I get it. I get a lot of those. Like if I say, okay, what musical has the song "Defying Gravity"? You don't know that. You don't know what? Okay, do you know that?
I don't.
Wicked,
Wicked, wicked. Yeah.
Wicked. So here's the thing. That song is the closing number of the first act, so it's a big bombastic musical.
Yeah.
At the same time, it has a lot of characterization for both characters, for both like Galinda and Alpha Al, Al, Alpha Alphaba. It's like to be honest, I've seen a musical. I still can't pronounce the name. What's it?
Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark. I'm sure you haven't seen that Unity.
I'm not. I'm never. I mean, I not. Yeah, of course. I mean, I will watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I would want to watch it live if they're still playing. It would be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh.
I
So yeah.
my favorite musical number for 2024 is it's I guess it's cheating, but like I loved Damien singing the iCarly theme in French in a very sad and dramatic way. That was probably the best joke in the movie. Remember that?
Uh. Yeah, I remember that, and that was like, oh, what is that? What is? And they were trying to basically it as a joke. Was like, hey, what does that mean? What are you saying? Oh, iCarly in French. I was like, oh, okay, that's that song already because the songs are not stupid.
With how many crew members fell and got injured, I guess they couldn't defy gravity.
Okay, that's a good one. But, but seriously, Wicked is a good musical. Even though I don't think it's as good as people say it is, but it's good overall.
Yeah, we'll see how
So
the movie adaptation goes.
they got misunderstood everything.
It's a common theme. Yeah. Um, I will say, I guess like I guess like if we're going character by character, I guess like the least to say is usually Karen. I did like Avantika. I think she does a really good job, like playing into the dumb aspect, like the airy aspect that like the Broadway version did, in a way. But I mean, she wasn't as like. It's kind of clear that she isn't like as much of a singer like Anguri was, but like I still feel like her singing was pretty okay. I think like I think "Sexy" the song was the only dance number that seemed to have like actual life in it when it came to the extras like dancing along and all that stuff. But that's pretty much all I can really say. Yeah, Karen just never really gets that much to do. I will say like I guess like my only thing is I don't like how 2024's version ends. Like how they skip the montage of like why like of how the Mean Girls are or the Plastics how they eventually they learn to get out of their cliques and like find something else that they're good at and stick to that. Like for example, Regina joined the lacrosse team. Uh, Karen becomes a weather girl and feels her boobs to check to see if it's raining or not. Uh, and then you got Gretchen joining the Asian group. And then you have obviously Katie's like in the mathletes now. So like everybody, but they're everybody's. The point is like they all matured. They got out of this hierarchy need like to be like powerful or like to be the best of the best or all that stuff. They learn to accept with other people and like they you know and they're happy. That's kind of like the point. But like the way the 2024 version ends is kind of more like uh
Oh,
they have
that's
so
it.
they have Janice and Damien be the narrators for the entire movie essentially because apparently the Broadway version made those two characters the narrators of that story as well. But the thing is like it really cuts out Katie's like monologue or like Katie being the narrator or Katie's opinions on everything. So I don't know. It's like I feel like that just one it diminishes Katie even more for not having her own thoughts and feelings out there, and then two, it's like well, it's like I really I don't really get like are they better now? Like have they improved as people? Are they going to take what they've learned from this experience to be better? Like we don't really get to see that because it's a dance montage. It's literally like Disney the Disney meme of where everybody dances and it's over. That's how the character arcs in. So yeah, that was just something
Uh,
I didn't really like.
don't worry, I don't even like the. It's weird because even the Broadway starts off with a song and dance, which is like, hello, we're gonna watch, we're gonna have to show you this song, even though like guys, you kind of don't have to do this. There's a lot of different ways to do so. Even if you want to do it, you can just start with just Katie just talks about
Sing, yeah,
yeah.
she could do her song "Roar." I don't know what there wasn't really a need for.
Or
I know that song though, like the first song of the. It
hmm?
sucks when you can't do it off memory. Um, it's not that important. It wasn't that necessary. I
Uh,
guess like my other thing is since we're talking about like film technique aspects, it's like another thing I don't really like is like how prevalent they really wanted to focus on um, social media or like how they put like all the TikTok edits and all that stuff. It's just very clear that this movie will get dated much faster. Where like every single scene, like every single big moment has like a TikTok montage or like we're recording on our phone and like singing this song or doing something like that. And it's like I don't know. I find it kind of dumb. But then again, I guess it's like
shit, yeah. That's
modernizing. I guess.
uh, yeah. That is definite. That is not in a Broadway version. If you're wondering,
Oh, of
they
course
just
not. Yeah.
yeah. It's like they just. I don't even know how did they get that as inspiration. It's like fuck. How did we make that movie?
Oh, by the
Uh,
way, speak. That's a great question because the producer of the show of the movie is saying like, yeah, TikTok was a huge influence for this adaptation. Like, oh, we want to connect with the Gen Zers and all this stuff. Like, for example, like so like all the costumes that they chose for this movie, which this sounds like a minor thing, but like I do think it's pretty telling because like I was like, kids don't really care about what they wear. They wear like a bunch of messy stuff and like they just go off to school like that. So it's like so we influenced our dress way as like TikTokers do. So it's like I I don't think Regina George should be influenced by people of TikTok to as for a way how she dresses. I don't know. That just doesn't sound like anything Regina would do. I mean, I know like 2004 was was 20 years ago, but like one of the big points of the that version is that the plastics are kind of meant to be like your celebrity like Barbie like characters where they're like they seem so rich. I mean, they're rich obviously, but then they also have like all this status, social status that like they seem unattainable or something like that. So it's like, but you can really tell based on how they dress. It's like, damn, they seem so far up there that I can't compete with that. But like here, it's like they're dressed like every other person, and then it's kind of lame. Like, why do people respect the plastics? Why do people treat the plastics better than everybody else? I don't really get that dynamic. Plus, like as we talked about with the lack of meanness from Katie, it's actually true for all of them, really, because like you don't really get that mean girl. So it's like, because like I guess like Renee tries like with Regina in the sense of like how like she does stand up to that guy for Katie, but that's kind of like the only thing she does. She doesn't really have like a mean phase.
Uh, and
I
especially
guess
because
she kisses Aaron, but like who cares about that?
yeah, I mean she cheated on her.
Yeah, yeah, but I guess these aren't like really like big.
Mean.
It's just yeah,
It's not mean. Just that's just
like
cruel.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I would say like 2004. She sees that uh Janice Gretchen's old boyfriend is like kissing another girl, and then what she does is like she calls the girl's mother, and like pretends to be Planned Parenthood, and then closes the phone, and then obviously it's a dark joke, but like that kind of highlights to you like how she can really be mean uh, on the switch of a dime too. Like she's trying to be cunning and manipulative, and then she can easily be like a venomous viper, like as I mentioned before. But yeah, that's it's stuff like that. But like you don't really get that in the 2024 version.
oh
I
no,
I also don't see that in the Broadway version either. I was also say that
oh no, they the Broadway version is just
Regina's very toned down. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of weird because a lot of things in that version is also rushed. It's like rushed. It's like wow, I was
yeah.
so surprised. A lot of plot beats like, oh, we have to get to that point. It's like, wait, how do you get to that point? Do you build that up? It's like, no, we just gotta jump time skip. Apparently,
It's the
I'm
thing I
not a fan
don't.
of.
It's the thing I don't understand because like people love Regina, like in the sense that if you mention anything from 2004, people are most likely going to mention Regina, and it's kind of interesting to me that the adaptations afterwards, like they just Regina's like one of the most like or like one of the least translated thing between the properties. Like I feel like her meanness is just like gone, and it's like at that point, it's like what's the point of having Regina?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I mean,
it's like
it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, she tried to insult the guy, but dude, that guy literally said, what is the guy said again? Wait, what's your breast size?
yeah, just jump up and down, then I can guess your breast size easily.
I was like, wow, that is just sexist, to be honest. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just yeah.
Which obviously is the point, but like but yeah, it yeah. I'll also say the problem with the lack of meanness from Regina 2024 is that I don't really get a sense that I don't really get a sense of hierarchy because like she seems as just as mean as Gretchen and Karen and Katie or like like yeah, she's a little bit more mean, but like she's not like mean enough to like where I believe that this is the alpha, this is like the beta Gretchen. But like for here, it's like I don't really know why. Like what makes Regina better than the other three? That's kind of like what you need to. I think like you need to establish that better, especially with her actions and how she treats other people. Because otherwise, like because like that's it's important because for Gretchen, her complete insecurity is that she is right there at the top, but she can never be at the top because Regina is just better than her. So, but I don't really get that in the 2024 version.
I mean, I don't get anything from that movie. It's like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like you get a feeling that they try to rush a lot of things for screen time. Just like oh, they need songs. Uh, dude, keep the important one then.
And speaking of songs and speaking of Gretchen,
I don't know what to say
her
because I
her solo song is "Where Did I Go Wrong," or something like that, and holding Regina's jacket while she's singing to a melody box, I guess. All right, but the more important thing is like I don't like the placement of that song because like it's so early in to the story that she's already scared of like she's already doubting Regina likes her anymore. It just seems too early for this song or and it's the same in the Broadway version too. Ashley Park, she was also in this adaptation movie as the French teacher. Fun fact. And speaking of cameos, Lindsay Lohan actually returns herself as the the mathletes, the judge. So that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, um, the Broadway version and the 2024 version, they put Gretchen's song like of insecurity right when they introduced the burn book. So if you remember the 2004 version, that's like way too early for them to have this kind of insecurity of where did I go wrong, or like why doesn't she like me anymore? Um, I think this would make way more sense like much after the like the Christmas thing. So at least like that, I can like at least buy some sort of character dynamic. Whereas like it's just I, I guess I'm repeating myself, but yeah,
yeah, we're just jumping around this podcast because we don't even try to go chronological. I don't even know what to say when it comes to chronological orders.
yeah. I do think I think the well at least for me the reason why I'm going character by character is like it's a little bit easier for this kind of structure. Um, because in the plot wise, I mean like a lot of it just comes down to Katie and like her interactions and her experiences with everybody else. Um, and then at that point, you're just kind of like judging character by character. Um, but I guess like what exactly is it that you want to cover?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, I don't really have much to say about the side characters. They're just side. I mean, I'll say this. Do you know the 2004 version Tina Fey and 2024 version Tina Fey are different?
Yeah,
Yeah, in the way that because in the 2004 version she was like you can tell that she's trying to help Katie because she has experienced this before and she doesn't want her to be like to be falling for high school cliches. And it's like, and the 2024 version, she was like, "Oh, I wanted you to join the mathletes because you're good at it." I mean,
yeah,
it's not a bad reason. You're just it's just lame. It just doesn't add anything.
yeah. It's a little difficult because like the major lines are there. Like, oh, it's like you're like I saw your test grade. All of your work is correct, but your answers are wrong. So it's like you're clearly trying to make it look bad so that you can look dumb in front of the boy, and then like it's a very bad mindset to have, and all that stuff. So, and then obviously like the whole drug dealing thing and like the whole like the pusher thing. Like yeah, the major lines are there, but like Um, I guess like I guess there was like one interesting thing I'd give like Mrs. Norbury is that like in the 2004 version they kind of tease a relationship between Tim Meadows' character and Tina Fey's character, and then in this one they actually have a relationship. So I think that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool thing to do if you were to combine both movies. It's just a little bit weird because like obviously they're doing the same plot beats again because of the same actors as well, which I do wonder. It's like I guess it's a choice. Um, I
Yeah,
yeah, it seems kind of repetitive, but that's intentional, of course.
it's yeah, it's I don't even know how to not get repetitive on this one.
Yeah.
Um, I'll say this. Do you know there's a Regina and Katie heart to heart at the ending, at the very end,
Yeah.
and I was like, uh, uh that wasn't in in the original version. Why do you add that?
So it actually, fun fact, it was a deleted scene, but there's a reason why it was deleted.
Yeah, because it's character assassination.
It's not the worst thing, but like I guess it's more like she's too forgiving at this point in time. Whereas like where we see the ending montage where they're cool with each other, like Regina and like they do like a what's up kind of thing and they're cool with each other, but that's like it's very clear that was like a year later actually. So there's that thing. Plus, yeah, it wouldn't have made sense in the movie like to have that heart to heart conversation so soon after this event. Plus, the other thing with that too is like it's tough too because like they have her say it twice that like yeah it's not your fault, you didn't push me, or it's like it's not your fault at all, and then she does it again on the stage when uh Katie's apologizing, and then she has to butt in saying yeah it's not her fault though, it's not her fault. It's a weird direction thing. It's like I that's kind of the thing too. It's like I don't really get a lot of 2024 Regina's like struggle or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's just kind of giving Katie a pass. And then I I hear we're talking about the bus hit thing. One of the biggest aspects of that is that so they changed the whole dynamic of it in the 2024 version where it actually focuses more on Janice and what she says to both not just Regina but also to Katie that like I I'm not apologizing to you, I'm not apologizing to Katie, I'm apologizing to myself for buying like a to having to trusting somebody who is just as bullshit as Regina. And then she sings her song, which Louis is a fantastic singer, um, very very good. This the voice of Moana, but my problem with that is like they focus on her so much that like they actually do the Regina gets out of the school and like Katie's like falling after saying like hey it's not wait you don't understand, and then Regina gets hit by the bus. That actually happens in the background. That's not even the focus. So that was certainly a choice.
That's when you can tell it's like, oh, you're relying on the original movie to just fill in gaps.
Yeah.
It's like that's supposed to be a climactic moment. What the fuck?
Yeah. Speaking of which, it also shows to me that this really is not a movie about Katie.
Yeah.
Because like
Oh,
it happened a few times, like where it's like we're seeing the perspective of the side characters getting more development than Katie, which is weird because like it's supposed to be Katie's movie, but and then another a very telling aspect was of that is like all the posters are strictly Regina George, nothing to do with Katie, and that's a very big problem.
oh, yeah. That's
And I
a
get it, Regina is like very popular. I understand why, but at the same time, you have if Katie's not your draw to this movie, then that's kind of bad marketing in my opinion.
But hey, they want to rely on the original movie success to boost this movie. That's a thing.
Yeah, especially in this age where there's remakes and adaptations and requels and prequels and sequels every month now. So I guess what do we know? I mean, next week we're gonna talk about the Spiderwick reboot. So
Oh wow, I'm still haven't finished episode 1 yet.
yeah, we'll figure that out. If not, we'll talk about Rebel Moon Part Two. Um,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, but man, um, yeah, another aspect. So Janice in general. Um, I think the 2024 version does a really bad job in terms of like establishing that Janice is not a nice person. Janice in 2004, Janice also says that at least Regina and I know that we are mean girls, like or like something along that line. So it's like, but here they go more in the aspect of like, well, here's kind of the problem. So they heavily go into the aspect that Janice is a lesbian, so she is a victim of all of this abuse that Regina put on her, which I understand that. The problem is they took away, and obviously, like, I understand making that change because in 2004, homosexuality is not treated the same way as it is today. So I completely understand, like, changing that aspect. But the problem is they don't really give something like a new thing Regina for Janice to be like, like a victim, but also like not a very good person. Uh, like you should have added something to make so that way it's like if you want her to be a lesbian, that's fine. But like,
Oh.
you need her to be something else, or like you need her to have some kind of like draw that puts Regina over her, but like she's still like bad because like again, if you compare both characters, Regina and Janice, they both uh, take advantage of Katie's innocence. They try to manipulate her to do what they want her to do. They want to sabotage other people. Like they both have very similar characterizations. It's just that one is considered as the good guy and one is considered as the bad one. But with the 2024 version, I don't really get a sense that like Janice has like any sort of like flaw that makes her like I guess she has
No,
a flaw that
I
people bully.
no, she has a flaw, but the movie doesn't acknowledge that as a flaw. Instead, they're just like, oh, this is actually inspiring because she has a solo song at the end. I was like, I don't care what people say, I would do whatever the fuck I want. Which is like, what? You literally control you literally control Katie to do whatever you want. You literally emotionally manipulate her. You didn't comfort her. Like fuck it. Even the Broadway version try to have her stay in the bathroom and just have her join her side instead of saying something mean at her at first.
Yeah, even the Broadway version kind of had this problem too, because like they really wanted to lean into the fact that so it's like originally in 2004, it was actually meant to be a joke. That like I'm not saying lesbians are jokes. Don't clip that out of context. It's more that like in 2004, the idea is that Regina may have misunderstood um, what Janice said is like she's Lebanese and assumed that meant lesbian. So, and that kind of rumor like circulated, and like now that's what she gets labeled as. And obviously, like one of the biggest points of that 2004 movie is that like, you know, yeah, like rumors can be tough because like when people believe it, and then everybody keeps like using that against you, and it's like, and especially since like Janice is like a strongly opinionated character, but she clearly is affected by like all these like bad rumors about her. Um, so it's like so that kind of thing, and then tie it back together with the I'm Lebanese, not lesbian. So not to say that there aren't Lebanese lesbians. We're not talking about that. But yeah, it's like that's kind of that kind of thing is like where Janice has like some kind of like some kind of thing that differentiates her from Regina. But like here, I feel like for this and the Broadway version, it's like they since they took that aspect away from Janice, I don't really see any kind of conflict with her that she's
No, that
dealing with, or like I
she
don't like. There's not really like a hurdle that she's going over.
no, she
It's
just
just kind of
it's
there.
she it's like they just made it up. It's like she just some kind of tragic figure because Regina just make fun of her, just or even burn her house, burn her doll down. It was like, oh, that was a choice. That she's just straight up evil now.
Yeah. Um.
Of course, the movie still frames it as not that bad.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
will say I do think out of all the characters, I think Damien is the most like accurate to from movie to movie. Um, or at least like I like Jevis a lot in the role. I thought he was pretty funny, especially the way that they went about like well obviously like in the original version like I mean he still doesn't have that kind of he still didn't have like that sauce of the like in the original one it's like oh he doesn't even she doesn't even go to the school. It's like it's just that's still funny today. Um, but yeah, but like I do think I do think the 2024 version of Damien was still very good on his own accord.
Hmm.
Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I mention everything.
uh, I need to think about a lot of things to mention because it's like the story is so simple, but at the same time, it's just character work that's holding it together. There's nothing about plot beats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I think going character by character was a little bit easier for me.
I'm thinking about it. Um, let's see. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
right. Shout out to Jackwell Spivey. Good Damien.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess so. Oh, great. It's, it's like I need because I actually after I finished this movie, I'm surprised that the movie is directed by some people I don't think they ever directed movies before.
Yeah, they're first timers.
Wow, why would you gamble on that?
I guess it's because of Tina Fey's um, scripting, but like this cinematography was kind of poor. Like you can tell this is a first time director um, at times, which obviously I'm not calling myself an expert or anything that I've never directed myself or used a camera like that before. But like it's just it's kind of the problem. It's like you can see that if you look at 2004 and then you look at 2024, 2024 has double the budget, but 2004 still looks better.
Yeah, it's like it's not how much you have, how you use it. How you use it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What was I supposed to say? Yeah. So, here's the thing. In 2024 version, I that is also written by Tina Fey,
Uh huh.
and 2004 version it is also written by Tina Fey. So you have to wonder what happened to her. Like, what happened to her between 20 years? Or fuck it, just between the Broadway version and that version is also bad.
So I guess my thing is with that is like I feel like obviously this movie is more adapting off of the stage play that happened in 2018. Um, then it's like, and it is like it's the thing is like they're relatively the same material. I mean, it pretty much is like almost plot for plot, beat for beat, the same thing. It's just like some of it just like lacks the sauce because it's really hard to do that same joke again. Um, like I don't know. It's like you can't really match. Like sometimes it just comes down to timing. It comes down to the delivery. It comes down to like things like where it felt genuine in 2004, and then when you try it again in 2024, the same exact thing, the same exact setup, it just doesn't hit the same because like I've already heard the joke before.
I mean, it's like I'll still say that give it to a person who never seen the original Mean Girls or the Broadway. I just have it be, and just like okay, here's the 2024 version. What do you think? They were like, oh, that was a weird movie. I don't understand why are so many like fan service, like there are so many dramatic moments for no reason. They will be confused as shit to even believe what is even happening.
That's that. Honestly, like I know you what you were saying earlier, but like that's why the French iCarly theme sad music was the funniest thing to me in this movie because it was a new joke um, that I had no comparison to. It wasn't in the Broadway version. It wasn't in the 2004 version, obviously, because it didn't exist at the time. But that's why it was like funny to me because like it's something different I haven't heard of before, and like I did not expect it at all. Um, but
Yeah,
then like yeah, but then when it comes to like, but obviously you can't do the joke. You the one of the best jokes in the original that you cannot repeat anymore is like, if you're from Africa, are you white? So, oh my God, Karen, you just can't ask people why they're white.
yeah.
Oh man,
Uh, it's like traditionally most musical has a big dance at the end, which is like yeah. I mean, but some of the best musicals doesn't have that problem. I mean, they don't even need that big musical like the big dance number. I mean, the big dance number at the end is like supposed to be like wrap up everything. It's like okay, here's all the themes together, and this is why it ends, stuff like that.
yeah.
Uh, the movie just like oh, this is a story. Dude, it's like why would you even try to use that as a device? I don't even understand. I don't want to care about it anymore. But it's like this. I don't mind that you guys have a like a big dance number at the end, but what does it even mean?
I mind because like the problem is like they do a voiceover over. It's like oh, like everybody's dancing and vibing and doing all this stuff, and then like the voiceover is like talking about something serious. It's like oh, like Gretchen, she learned how to overcome her insecurities and hang out with the mathletes. It's like that's cool. I wish I could see that. Um, or it's like like so they do that for all the characters, and then that's the thing that I don't like about this ending compared to the original ending is that the original ending pretty much shows you like all the characters like moving on from being plastics and doing their own thing that makes them happy, and then like you have Katie and like seeing like a young group of plastics coming in and say like if anybody's gonna like do something, we know you know who to call basically, but like not like a Ghostbusters reference, but like
Mm,
something like that. But yeah, it felt like a conclusion. It felt like an ending. It felt like there was like there was some growth, the character growth between the characters. Just like I don't know, but when it comes to the 2024 version, because of the dance montage, like I don't really get that. Like I guess they tell me everything, but like I feel like a lot of that impact is gone because of
yep. Yeah. Uh,
that. Yeah.
I do you remember there's a joke about like Tina Fey just made us like in the movie version, the 2024 movie version. She was like, "Oh, as woman, we have to stand up against the man during the football, like the after the burn book chaos." I was
Yeah.
like, dude, half the people there are man. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you're literally standing next to the principal. Why would you say that in front of people? Are you a teacher who cares about student or not?
Honestly, I the 2004 version was hilarious, and like it's very dark, of course, the joke, but it's like the principal has the bat in his hand, and, and then Coach Carr is like holding the two Asian girls like from fighting each other. It's like stop them from fighting each other. It's like Coach Carr, step away from the underage girls, and then he backs up and runs away. It's it's a That's a very bad joke, but it's also funny, especially how it was delivered and how they went about it at the same time. But then I also but my main thing about that is like the principal, like he also like, oh hell no, I didn't sign up for this shit, and then he hits the fire like the water sprinklers to turn on, and that gets everybody to stop. I don't know. It's just like I. But when they do it again for 2024, they don't do the water sprinklers thing. It's just the fire alarm. But it's like I don't know. But then you can't really hear his voice. Like you don't hear that commanding presence. You don't really hear that because like everybody's still yelling, and then the fire alarm is like loud. So it's like when he's yelling, like everybody get to the gymnasium right now. It's like you can't really hear him. So like that aura is not really there. I don't know. I there's just some things like where it's like it worked the first time around. It doesn't really work the second time.
Yes, a lot of things, and some of things are just straight up. You okay? That's a stupid. Please don't do it. Yeah, and what did I forget? Oh, by the way, do you the math lead is like the last question in the 2024 movie. So in the 2000s, and okay, here's a comparison. In 2004 movie, Katie described the other members as, oh, she's ugly and blah 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 blah, but it's like it doesn't matter at the end. And 2024 version, they literally have the math lead person just go, oh, you're a whore.
Yeah, because the Broadway version did that too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that adds literally nothing to Katie. To Katie, you literally just have her be mean to her for every justifiable reason now.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. You're right. I didn't like that either. Um, Especially since like, and then it's like it gets more annoying because they have Katie also be like, "Why did you insult me? It, like you were wasting my time." It's like just solve the problem. It doesn't matter. She called you a slut. Move on. Like I don't understand. But she was making like such a big rant about like, oh, it's like why'd you do this? Like you're affecting my thinking. Like it's a competition. She's trying to get in your head, right? I don't understand. Um, there are some subtle jokes that I did kind of like in terms of like the references, like where they have like Lindsay Lohan, pretty much say like, this has never happened before except once, a sudden death, and it's like, oh, it happened in 2004. That's funny. Um, but yeah, what do we have? Yeah, so we kind of talked about like pretty much different aspects of that. Um, I do think Gretchen has like one of the biggest impacts in terms of like from film to film, mainly because like I feel like Gretchen got a lot of like screen time in the OG cut, which I guess like for some people that who wants to hear it out, this film had like 93 minutes in 2004, and then the 2024 version had like 1 hour 50, like near a little less than 2 hours, but closer to that range. Um, but for some reason, the Mean Girls 2004 version, as we've talked about for many other adaptations that have like less material for some less time, somehow does more work with it than the material that has more time but less is being accomplished. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, simple. Because they have to cram like 36 minutes of songs there, and most of it literally just confuses me. Hey,
Yeah,
do you remember how did like Aaron just fall in love with Regina because Regina just sings a horror song to him?
yeah. It's
It's
like
like,
on the one hand, it's like she looked really good in that angel costume, but I digress. But yeah, it really wasn't much. Um,
which is, I mean, I argue it makes it even worse because like, why would you even sing that song? It's like, hey, I'm evil, I'm crazy, I'm basically just playing hide and seek with you. Come and get me. Wow, that's a choice.
yeah, 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 I see what you mean. Um, yeah, I do think I do think like the Aaron So I talked about it earlier, but like Aaron's like the way they went about him is like he was one dimensional in the 2004 version, but like he's still like one dimensional in this one. But like the Broadway version does a better job like getting Aaron to talk more, to get his opinions about things, like to get his like input and like his dynamic relationship between Regina and Katie almost equally. So it's like I felt like he was more of a character in that one, which honestly I was gonna say like maybe Tina Fey like kind of realized the flaws of 2004 Aaron and like wanted to make him better for the Broadway version, which I thought he was better in the Broadway version. Then it's like okay, so now she's adapting from the Broadway version, so hopefully Aaron has more characterization in this one, but he really doesn't. So it's like he went right back to the 2004 kind of personality. Um, so I don't know. I felt like Tina Fey's like priorities kind of got lost for his character in particular. Um, but yeah, that's just kind of like at least my thing about that. Um, but yeah, my thing about Gretchen in particular is like yeah, so there's more screen time, but yet she has less to do. Like one of my favorite moments of hers is like when she after the after the candygram thing where she gets the candy cane where Katie writes a candy cane for herself, but like using Regina's name, saying like, "Oh, it's my best friend," and Gretchen doesn't have a candy cane at all about that. So it's like it gets her to spill some tea about like how Regina's fucking another guy behind Aaron's back in a closet. So you got stuff like that, but then you also have the scene where Regina, where Gretchen is so angry that like she's like speaking her essay about like Caesar and Brutus, and then like, but obviously like she's putting all that passion into how angry she is because like obviously you know Caesar versus is supposed to be more of a representation of Regina. So it's like, but like you hear all that pain, you hear that frustration, the way she delivers all those lines. Lacey Chabert does a fantastic job in the movie, um, as along with everybody else. But yeah, it's like you get to hear how angry it makes her, like being out of the loop, being out of like yeah, she's like, I mean, her rise to fame is like she's the daughter of the guy who invented the toaster strudel, so it's like it's not that big of a deal really, but like it's a big deal to her. So it's like when she's losing all this like control and self importance, she's like it causes her to break. With the 2024 version, I just don't really get that. The thing is like Karen and Gretchen are very similar in the movie, like in the sense of like they have similar importance in the film, but it's like that's not a good thing. It's because like they both are very underwritten, where I don't really learn anything about them. Um, like I don't feel like Gretchen got like a payoff at the end. I don't feel like Karen got a payoff at the end. Like they just felt equal to me. So and that's kind of a problem because Gretchen is supposed to be better than Karen, yet for some reason they were both dragged down. So
Yeah, yeah. What a Gretchen Karen. It's like I mean the purpose of the original movies for those blonde girls are just like oh they're dumb blondes. That's all you need to know.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting to put an Indian character as Karen to play the dumb character, but I can make that joke since I'm Indian, but like, all right, I guess. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even want to break. It's like the songs. It's. I don't even know what to say about a lot of those because I mean, do you remember like there's a one scene that when Katie doesn't want to go to school and her mom pushes her, which is like uh wow, sure. I mean, the movie version she just decided herself, which took away her agency in the 2024 version. That
yeah.
was fun.
What was that other one? Yeah, my big thing about Katie, um, 2004 Katie has like obviously like those things like where her naivete is like kind of getting in the way of like really seeing the blatant things that like both Janice and Regina were taking advantage of. And then like but you can still see that it played a factor like when she was becoming more and more plastic, like she's dressing more like Regina, she's like talking more like Regina, even though and she's not realizing it either. Like she is just kind of embedding herself into that. Like obviously, like when she interacts um, with Regina, uh, especially when Regina's starting to regress now. Um, Katie, but you can see like Katie is like really taking that alpha lead to the point where she doesn't even realize it. Uh, where all the Gretchen and Karen are looking up to her to be like the new queen bee and all that. So it's like with the 2024 version though, it's like I just don't like she's put in that position, um, but like it just didn't feel earned. Like I think the biggest telling of that was like when she was rewarded for the whole Christmas dance thing, and it's so awkward because like in the Christmas dance they put her in the back where you can't even see her in some of the shots because most of the shots was focusing on Regina in that scene, which I understand why it makes sense, but it's like at the same time, it's like you want me to believe that people like Katie now, but I don't see why they would want to like the Kate. Why would they like Katie now? So it's like it doesn't really make sense to me.
No, because TikTok. That's the reason.
TikTok, yeah, nothing has to make sense on TikTok. That makes sense.
Huh. Oh. Yeah, it's a lot. I don't even know. It's like I don't even know how do you even. Here's the thing though. I watched this movie with a bunch of my music theater friends, or just music theater society members,
Yeah.
and they all loved it. And I was literally sitting in the theater, I was like, God, please save me. Which, to be fair, it happens. Music theater students like
Um,
love. Yeah, they love musical. Oh well.
I don't know what to think about the movie because like, I think there were some good scenes and good ideas in the movie.
Oh yeah,
But, like,
because they are from the 2004 movie. That movie is they have all the good ideas there, and they just took it.
yeah, yeah, it's just kind of difficult in that sense. Like I don't really see how much of the Mean Girls experience. I guess it's kind
Oh
of hard too because like you are comparing the two mediums, but like even then it's like even if I haven't watched Mean Girls, I still don't feel like I learned anything about this version of Katie outside of
yeah,
that she likes a boy.
the the girls, the girls like I think that like people study music theater who are like females. Those are the people they're marketed to, and you basically fill out the context with the original movie yourself. I said that before, but this movie relies on you filling out the context from the previous movie.
Yeah,
A lot of things for me is like, oh, you literally rush that. Like, what does Katie like this guy? I mean, they have a literally have a song about it, which is crazy. What's it called again? Stupid with love.
yeah. Honestly, they should have cut that song and replaced it with some other song.
Yeah, it's like
Because
what's
like
it called?
there are some decent songs, but like they cut those out from the Broadway musical. Because like obviously if you're gonna pick, because obviously you're not gonna do all 25 songs. You don't. Please don't do that. But like I don't know, pick the better ones.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know what to say. Like, I look at this lyrics. It's like when I was 5, I fell in love. It didn't last. He ran from me. He literally ran from me. And being Kanyan, he ran fast.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I reading? When I was 10, in love again, this peace corpse guy, I waited hours inside his tent with flowers, which made him laugh, which made me cry. By 13, I gave up trying and decided I would be a repetition because math is real. I memorize a lot of pi because addition and subtraction and division will never make me feel so stupid with love.
Yeah, it is ironic. She dumbs herself down with math
Yeah,
just to be with the guys. So I guess that's kind of
yeah,
I guess that's kind of the point. She kind of a dramatic irony, but I don't know. I still feel like it's not the best song to pick out of the ones that she had. But I still feel like
yeah.
even in that song, she kind of cuts out some of her characterization in the perspective. But there were some things too, like "Meet the Plastic" song, where Regina singing like "I'm Regina George" and all that stuff. But the thing is, like they cut out the parts where Gretchen explains herself, where Karen explains herself. So it's like I
Uh,
get it's for prioritizing. Yeah, Regina's the top one, so it's like let's put the focus more on her. So it's like okay, but like that's also you know Karen and Gretchen are also your leads too. You're gonna have to respect them in some capacity. But I guess since they planned not to do that, so I guess it's okay then.
I'm thinking. But to be honest, I don't even know why would they start the song with "I am Regina George." I was like, wow, that was a way to introduce your song instead of just like, okay, this is like I like to do this. I feel about this and this. And no, this song is just like I'm Regina George. I like to watch the world burn. Wow, great introduction. You just waste like 3 minutes of screen time just to sing me the song.
Yeah, and that's kind of the weird thing too. It's like this film has more time than the 2004 version, but there's still moments that are cut out that doesn't make any sense to me. Well, it's because they're filling up that time with songs or things that don't matter.
Yeah, because just saying, if anyone actually like no musical, a song normally takes up at least 3 pages. You basically just short. You give if you don't use the song well, and especially when you're writing a pantomime, which the songs already existed, and you have to write original pantomime, you are having deep trouble because the songs are costing you a lot of time, and you have to find a way to make it work for the story, world building, and the characters.
Right.
And this is, I mean, I just keep mentioning Regina George song, but that is just one of the biggest examples. And the other example is like the what's it called? What's the character called again? It's like okay, the song "Rather Be Me." Wow, great choice, guys. I don't even know why. Here's the thing: because original movie, they just like they just did it with a few lines like I'm sorry that this, and also I have a lesbian crush on you, Regina. Yeah, you just did it in a few sentences. This one, they literally have a song number that lasts for like 4 minutes. I was
Yeah.
like,
Another thing about this movie with Regina in particular, it's like they kind of like undercut the whole. So, like for example, one of her insecurities in 2004 was not to be fat and all that stuff. But then it got to like a point where, and I guess 2024 version has this thing too. But then they kind of get to a point where they actually have the characters comment how her boobs have gotten bigger and she looks way better now, which is fine. But then like that whole plot point of her being insecure about her body frame doesn't really make sense now. Um, it's stuff like that because obviously like in 2004 the whole body dysmorphia thing and all that girls caring about how they're shaped and all that stuff. It's a lot different than how it is now. So I understand that aspect, but it doesn't really make sense to keep that aspect. It seems more like if you want to update to a more modern audience, then you should probably think more on like what you would want to replace that with. how to make the story dynamic similar but not too far out there. But then again, it's like it's kind of weird because like I mean Tina Fey is like a probably middle age at this point. I don't really how much she's in tune with the Gen Zers, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm thinking
And
because
that was yeah.
yeah, I mean there's only one plot hole I think it's like I think of is yeah I don't know what to say because there's still some connective problems with the show with the movie. It's like okay, it's just like plot wise because like they establish so how did Regina George find out she's being tricked by Katie in the original movie because she opens a bar, eats it outside after she got rejected by the party, and the sports guy recognized it as a bar. It's a bar for him to gain fat, which is fair. She Regina George doesn't really stick with guys a lot of the time. She just cheats on it, so she only find out during like after a while. In the 2024 movie, her mom finds out and immediately tells her.
Yeah.
Remember, her mom literally said, "I sleep in my daughter's closet." So she will have to go in her room and notice that.
She would have had to have seen the bars earlier
Yeah,
to make a comment. Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, I really realize that now." It's like, dude, what? You literally sleep in your daughter's closet. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and that thing was introduced in the Broadway only. Even the treadmill scene where she's running on the treadmill, that's all in the Broadway one only.
Yeah,
I
it's
do,
so
I
good.
do, I do wonder though, because like maybe it was like a deleted scene, or like maybe it was like it was a original concept of like writing the draft, and like they realized it didn't really make sense, so they cut it out. But I guess in Tina Fey's book novelization of Mean Girls, that was like the original idea of what they how they wanted the reveal of the bars being fat inducers. Um, and I guess like the mom sleeping in the closet because of a Japanese ritual or something. I don't know what that is.
To be honest, I think you should really think about why that is cut.
Yeah, that's only if it's true. I can't really speak on it, but the fact that it's in both adaptations, it's like I'd have to wonder.
Yeah, it's like yeah. So the point is the Broadway and the 2024 version. The mom should have figured that out much earlier.
Yeah, because like another thing about the 2004 version is like the bar is written in Swedish, and I guess there were computers at the time, but like obviously computers are not like how they are now. So it's like you could just Google it, the name of the bar, and like now it is. So it's she could have maybe figured out earlier. But like I guess like they still had her gaslighting. It's just like it's just your waterways. It'll like eventually implode, and then you'll lose all of that weight at once after you pee. So it's like I guess, but the one thing I don't understand is like instead of like so in the 2004 version they replaced the pimple cream with foot cream instead, and then gave that to Regina, and then her face smelled like a peppermint because of like it's still like a cream meant for like your body. It's just the wrong part of the body was being used for. But in the 2024 version, they replace the cream with lard. You know what lard is?
Yeah, something for
It's,
cooking.
it's like meat fat, yeah. So
Yeah,
so there's no way she put that on her face and did not smell it or like notice that it's not like not supposed to be on your skin. Lard also has like a really like fat texture. So like when you like rub it, like it'll like eventually it'll like dissolve in your hand. and like you could definitely smell that it would be like a fat. So like, there's no way that she could have put that in a container for face cream and expect that to be the same thing. I just don't buy it. The foot cream makes
Yeah,
way more sense.
same. It's this is a weird concept, and also the fact that do you remember like the first time Regina George like in the movie and the Broadway version it happens like they were like Regina George said, "Oh, I hate it's like, what the fuck, Janice, because I you know she's in this party now and she was not invited, even though because I only invited 13 people." So, and then I was like, and then it's revealed that she lied. I was like, why would you even need to lie? You're
Yeah,
literally showing her the burn book and telling you and you explaining why you think that they're all like pathetic. You don't have to lie. You literally can just tell her the truth when Katie asks.
yeah, it's kind of weird because she kind of. I guess it's more like she kind of tells the truth. It's just she kind of warps it in a way for Katie. Um, in the 2004 version as well, it's like she kind of like she was explaining that. But that's where they leaned more into the lesbian part of the story, and like that not being true for the 2004 version. So it's like I guess it's the problem is like they want to do the same concept, but it doesn't really work in the 2024 version because they are modernizing uh, Janice's character in that regard. So it's I don't know. It's like so it's like overcompensating for something that it doesn't seem possible now in that sense.
Which is uh I it's like I get it, but at the same time it's like you can just have Katie just don't ask that question.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all you need to like, and you just find another way for her to reveal the secrets. Which is about the 2024 movie just said, oh yeah, Regina George burned her doll. Wow, that was a that doesn't tell me anything, but sure. Aside from Regina George is a psychopath.
no, that was for Janice.
Yeah, Janice. She burned Janice's doll. That was a change.
Yeah, that really is the thing because like you need something that makes Regina and Janice to hate each other, but like you don't really have that aspect where so like in the original, Janice's hatred is coming off the fact that Regina spreads a lie about her that like it's seen to be true that people think it's true when it's not true at all. But the problem is like so that was like focusing on her sexuality as the reason of that lie existing. And for this situation, they don't have the sexuality thing to legitimize the joke that they have. It's not supposed to be a joke, but like but it's meant to be like that. Something that puts Janice to shame in that sense. But the thing is, like, they didn't really take the time to replace that shame with something else. Like, you can have her be ashamed about anything else. As like, think about, for example, think about sex education. Our first episode ever on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and Maki's character, Maeve, she wanted to help out somebody that bullied her a lot because she kept spreading a rumor that she's like a slut, like since she was like under like she was like before like in middle school and all that stuff, and like that's been spreading around all this time. And it's like, and then Otis asks, is like, why do you wish to help me? Like, why do you want to help her so bad? She has never treated you well. So, because like if I don't help her, it's like then this rumor is gonna people are always gonna share this rumor and like it's raw and all that stuff. So it's like that's why it's like really important for her to like solve that. But it's like so it's like yeah, just change the story. It's like maybe she's not a lesbian, just like change it to like oh she's like a I don't I won't say do it like grade A slut because then it's like that's like almost exactly like Maeve and I don't know. So but you have to change that aspect because otherwise like if her being a lesbian is the problem and then you show us later that her being a lesbian is open and known to everybody and especially in 2024 it's like a accepted thing in general. So it's like I don't know. Then you have to change what makes Regina. and Janice have hatred for each other. So it's like I don't know, like I feel like that's like basic storytelling in my opinion. Like if you want to change an aspect that needs to be changed, you have to change everything, not just like the like one little thing. Like oh now she burned my doll. Cool, that doesn't really tell me why she hates you.
Yeah, it's like 2024. Being a lesbian is not an issue now. Of course, it's 2004. I get it.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, you kind of have to change that. I mean, you gotta say it's like you can just say that the school doesn't really like lesbians or whatever. I mean, that's at least something.
maybe. Yeah.
Um,
And then like another thing was like, I guess like speaking of that, it's like they were explaining how the producers were explaining how like Regina's costumes like they didn't want it just to be for male gays, they wanted it for male and women gays. And it's like honestly like I don't really know what that means in the sense. I mean I guess I can't understand because I'm not a woman, but I mean you they put her in that homecoming dress and they show like a lot of women being into when she got all wet in that moment. So it's like clearly it's like it was a male gaze and a women gaze right there. So I don't really understand the whole controversy of the costumes. Other costumes just looking kind of stupid in my opinion. But that's like that's the whole thing about the TikToker mindset that they went with this movie.
yeah, they sort of a lot of TikTok videos for some reason. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I have noticed that lately. It's like there was a lot of like so speaking of like first time directors and stuff like that. I've noticed a trend that people have noticed is like I feel like a lot of modern directing nowadays is like it feels like they're directed in a certain way so that people can make the perfect TikTok out of it. I don't know if you've ever noticed that in recent media.
Yeah.
Like Avatar, for example, had like a lot of like one person. Everybody's like focused or like everybody's like compacted in the middle of the screen, and like so much like extra room on the sides. It seems like the perfect place to crop it out so that you can put it on for a phone setting. So it's like I don't know. I've noticed that a lot lately, and I think Mean Girls had a few examples like that as well.
Hmm. Yeah, it happened. It's like whoever direct this, like they should really hand it to someone who knows how to direct musicals.
Yeah, it's like you could have like a first time director, but like hopefully they have musical experience.
Yeah, I was like, if you don't know the basics of like, okay, why is this a musical? It's like, oh, uh, because songs. That that's like, nah, yeah, whatever. Because here's the thing: do you know the marketing never
That's
promote that
true.
fact?
We're actually in a dystopia.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the thing. Do you realize the marketing never tells you that this is a musical?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, none of the
Yeah,
like you
there's
may have the only things you'll see sometimes was like the dance choreography, but you never actually heard like the musical aspect or like how they are going to break out into song or anything like that. Yeah, they didn't market it at all like that. I've heard like a
yeah.
lot of first time reaction viewers like, "Oh, this is a musical. I didn't know that."
Oh, yeah, I know this is a musical, even though I never heard of that before the trailer came out. I literally just researched. It's like, oh, musical? Sure. I mean, I was like, because I'm music theater, so they literally just tell me this is a musical. It's like, and and when I came in and just like with zero expectation, I was literally stunned by how bad the songs are. It happens. Of course, the issue is not because it's a musical, but it's because it's a bad musical, and the
Yeah,
studios just thinks that being musical is a bad thing automatically.
yeah. At least nowadays.
Yeah. Which by the way, the Disney classics are all musicals. The Little Mermaid, uh, you know,
Lion
like
King,
Lion King. It's like what are the others? Like
Hunchback,
Aladdin.
Notre Dame,
Yeah, Aladdin.
Aladdin, Beauty and the
Beauty.
Beast,
Yeah.
all your princess movies.
Yeah, all of them. Even Moana. It's like, dude, those are
Modern
the most.
classics.
Yeah, I was like, those are some of your most influential films ever, and they are musicals. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Um, I think I guess like if you were to give like your overall thought on the Broadway musical and how they did with the movie adaptation of it, like how those two compared to you.
I mean, I think the Broadway also misses the mark. It's like it's a lot of those. Oh, we need to cram like 25 songs in 2 hours. It's like on average, one song is 3 minutes. You basically just cram like 70 minutes into a 2 hour play, and all I can say is good luck. So they're basically rushing a lot of plot points as well. A lot of character development just straight up just like, okay, this happens, then this happens. Okay, because it happens in the original movie, so it happens right now. It's like, it's like Aaron falling in love with how does like Regina even seduce Aaron? I was so unclear. Why did Regina even like Katie? I was so unclear about that one. Why would Regina's minions even like Kate? Even want to share secrets with Katie? That's also unclear.
Yeah, it's like in 2004, I think Lindsay just does a better job like putting that aloofness, that childlike wonder. Like I really don't understand what you're talking about, but I'm just gonna smile and accept what you're saying as fact. And it's like, it's like, and then like how the classic scene of like where the girls are talking about their body shaming themselves, like, oh, my pores are too big, I have fat heels, my armpits smell like onions or something like that, and then all like uh, Katie has bad to say about herself is that she has bad breath in the morning. So it's like she's like a Martian. It's like that's what they love about it. Uh, which is like, and then you eventually see with through Regina's like manipulation that like she can really take that innocence of Katie and use it against her due to her due to that innocence. One second. One musical I saw recently was Phantom of the Paradise from Brian De Palma. It's one of my new favorite cult movies.
Yeah, I never seen that one, so sorry about that.
All right, we forgot to mention John Carr is played by John Hamm
Hmm.
in the 2024 movie. They didn't really do much with him, though. I mean, they took the joke from the Broadway musical. How uh, we're going to talk about hormones. So let me spell that for you. WHOR. It's almost spells horrors. That's funny.
What? What? Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
it's so funny. It's like,
one of the jokes in the 2004 version is like he spells all the terms wrong. Like he's going to spell chlamydia KLA. It's not how you spell it. So
it's like, oh, how do you even get? Why do you even
how'd you get
try
this
to teach?
job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
I
that.
guess it's one of I guess it's one of the things. Is like I'm a coach, like I'm a PE teacher, but I also have to do health too, and I suck at that. But oh yeah, you got to be good at both aspects. But
I mean,
that's part of the joke.
yeah. Even that was like, you don't spell anything. Just say health and safety. Wear a helmet outside. Uh, so it's like just say shit like this instead of just like, trying to spell stuff. If you're really bad at this, and and here's the thing though, in the 2020, okay, there's one more plot hole that I realized. Okay, in the
Yeah.
2024 movie, Regina George just bring the burn book like before class. No, not before class, before school started. Which my first question is, wait, wait. How do you even enter the school? Is the school unlocked? How did no
Uh,
one notice that?
it depends on the school. Some schools don't lock after hours because they sometimes they leave it open because of the after school activities, sports games, or anything like that. It usually depends. Um,
Yeah, and also don't forget it's 2024. There's CCTV. There could be CCTV in the school.
could be.
Yeah, so it's a lot of those. Like, I don't think you can just do that. Yeah,
Um, right. Uh, so I guess like one of my unless you have like any other things before we start wrapping things up.
to be honest, I think I spoke all I wanted. It's Mean Girls the musical. I mean, there's a lot of musical versions you don't realize. Like, there's a Freaky Friday musical. Fun fact.
Uh, the,
Yeah, that was
based on
yeah
the Catherine Newton one, or
uh yeah that
no, no,
yeah
no, that's the Lindsay Lohan one.
yeah the Lindsay Lohan one based on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
also
mo
had the like when they were casting for 2004. Lindsay actually wanted to be Regina, but the producers were like, Lindsay's like known for playing the good girl, so it's like we don't really want to risk it by putting her as a villain. So that's why they put her as you know as
which
Katie
should we
instead. Yeah,
yeah which should be fair. I think they made the right choice at the end.
yeah. I think what's interesting about the choice too is like you could see like when she does become more like Regina towards the middle, like the second act of the movie. You can actually see like where she could have thrived if she was Regina as well, which is why she works so well in the role. Is like you can see her as Regina or as Katie. Well, it's like I think with Anguru's version, I don't really see. I don't know if I could see her as Regina as I could with Katie, but like that's kind of like a thing that it's tough to like compare performances in that aspect. I also think they just did a poor job writing her character to begin with, um,
Yeah.
for the from a writing standpoint. Um, one thing, so I guess like when I start concluding my thoughts on Mean Girls in general, Mean Girls 2004 was definitely one influential movie for me over about at least for more than a decade at this point, even though it's obviously been around for 2 decades at this point. Um, I what I like about the movie is like there is like a lot of aspects that get repeated, but like it has like a payoff at the end. Like uh, for example, Katie sometimes is like reacting in the situations like where she sees like the people like she doesn't really understand like how people interact with each other, and like all her mind can like do is like process them like if they were animals, like they're if they were like going out to fight each other or if they're going out to do this and that. But then it's like, but then you see it a few times in the movie, and then at the in the third act when everybody is like fighting over the material that the burn book was like said, uh, you even hear her think it's like, wow, this is not, I'm not dreaming. This is like this is real. Like it's an actual jungle out here. It's like yeah, so there's kind of like all that setup, and then to the point where now everybody's actually fighting. They lost chaos. They lost control of everything, and now all the girls are fighting in the hallways. Like you have some payoffs like that. Um, honestly, like the a lot of the script in general is just like pretty much airtight in terms of how they go about that story, and then a lot of great lines and memes that are still used today. Even some of the small characters, like I honestly like there is like a bit of like a Raimi Spider-Man kind of thing with the background characters as well. Like some of the actors in the background just do like a really good job. If you ever notice them in the background, like when Gretchen is saying her Caesar versus Brutus speech, Like you can see all the side characters just looking around, like she has lost her shit. It's really funny. And then like there was like this one like when all the fighting is happening and on the outside, it's, in the hallway, it's like, and then this one little boy is like, "Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared." Uh, yeah, so there's a lot of funny moments from here and there throughout the movie. But yeah, one of the biggest aspects is like uh, the characters in general. You know, Katie going through her new life from Africa to the high school setting in America. How she was having a tough time trying to fit in. How she was trying to understand things, but it's kind of difficult for her because she sees things more through the simplistic point of view since she hasn't really interacted with other people. She learns a lot about social cliques. She learns a lot about like how people, especially girls, how they act towards other people and how they try to better themselves here and there. And she kind of has to take what she's learning from both Janice and Regina to make herself seem like she's like a better fit. Also with the influence from her relationship with Aaron, and like how she's learning some lessons, like for example, like don't dumb yourself down for a boy. Just talk to him. It's not that big of a deal. Of course, she had the dilemma with Regina also being into
Yeah.
him, and like all that aspect of here and there. So you know,
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like remember that it's like to 2024 versus what trying to do funny. Hey, Katie just tell Aaron, it's like, hey, do you know Regina George cheat on you? And what? Aaron just opens the locker, like what the clean up, like what is what's it
the
called?
janitor's closet. Yeah,
Janitor's closet, and just like and just discover, oh, you are cheating on me. I was like, well, dude, how do you know that? I mean, yeah, I know Katie told you that she's cheating on you, but how do you know whether she cheats on you?
yeah. It's like Katie did say the location, but I'm kind of confused. Like, so here's my thing. In the original movie, so they were doing the tutoring at her house, and then they kiss, and then like obviously he says that's wrong. We should not be doing that. It's like, why do you like Regina? It just doesn't seem like, and then it becomes like word vomit because like sometimes like in the original movie, Katie was like, sometimes she gets so frustrated to the point where she has to say what she shouldn't have said. So she says that Regina is cheating on you, and
This one.
then that's it. The problem with the movie having it, the 2024 movie having it where she says it in the cafeteria, like she and Aaron are in the same location. They're both like available. So Aaron can like just go straight to Regina from wherever uh, Katie talked about the location of where they fuck. And then, but then it's like, it takes away that aspect of like, in 2004, they don't know who told Aaron that they were cheating because it was a private conversation. Then Aaron just like figured it out. Like he says that, oh, somebody on the baseball team told me that you and Regina are, Regina and you, that other guy are together. So it's like that's why they're breaking up. So it's like, so Regina would never know who actually revealed that truth until obviously when Janice spills the truth. But in the 2024 version, with everybody in the present area, and I feel like Katie would have been exposed, but like if she was like there, but conveniently nobody figured out that Katie was the one who revealed that Aaron. She was the one who told Aaron. So I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's it's such a weird movie to say it. Even then, I was like, dude, What time is she cheating on you? The Katie, the like, the one of the plastic also tell you the exact time she's cheating.
Yeah, and then it's kind of weird too because like the 2024 version is like after looking into the closet, seeing that Regina is cheating, and then the closet door closes. Then Katie comes out of hiding and to look at Aaron with a smile on her face, like acting like she's like, oh, now you're gonna come to me now, right? And then Aaron walks away. It's like you just admitted the guy told you just had the guy learn that his girlfriend was cheating on you. What makes you think that he's gonna come to you now? That's kind of dumb. And I get it. It's like, oh, she's from Africa. She doesn't know. She doesn't know how that works. But it's like, come on, like you gotta be smarter than that.
I mean, you literally have a song about relationships, and you don't know about that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, I don't know what you were thinking, like trying to reveal. Plus, it just comes off as more like that's kind of my thing too. It's like Katie in the 2024 version, and she's more reactionary to everything to the point where like I can't really buy her. So like whenever things happen for her, or whenever she wants something, like I don't really get the sense that how she got to these conclusions or how she got to these uh, traits that they're giving her. So it's like I don't know. It's just like they really did, uh, and Guri a really poor job with her characterization.
Uh,
I still don't think she's the worst, but you know, at the same time, it's like it's tough to do a musical as well when she can't, or there's only so much you can do.
I mean, you could just learn from Heathers or Legally Blonde. You could just change the entire story, not change the entire story, like fit the songs and they just remove certain, like change the dialogue to certain music so you can actually
Yeah, yeah. We also
uh,
don't get them trying to make it look like Aaron naturally discovering Regina cheating. It looks like he's headed for the projection room above the auditorium.
yep.
Yeah,
Sure,
that's
okay.
true.
Yeah.
Right, because they right in the 2004 version they tried twice to get Aaron to go to that particular room where Regina fucks. But the first time it happened, Regina had a place to hide so that Aaron wouldn't find out. Um, and then in the second time, that was the joke that aged very badly with Coach Carr and the Asian girl. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, while I appreciate them not doing that for 2024, I'm not asking them to do that either. It is a very bad joke. At the same, or I mean, I guess you could have suggested it, but then like you just have to like commit to that being bad. Whereas in the 2004 version, they treat it more like a joke. So so
Yeah.
there's some that's why there are some aspects of the 2004 version that just hasn't aged well. So and then
Yeah.
as Operation mentioned, there was attempts to try to make it like seem like a natural way to get him up there into that room specifically to find Regina, and then it had Katie like get to a breaking point where it's like she's cheating on you. That's it. Um, there was like no natural progression to it. So that's kind of the other thing we were talking about before. It's like they have more screen time than the original movie, but the original movie did more with that less amount of time than the movie did for 2024.
Yeah. True. It's they're really rushing a lot of things, which is insane. And especially this by Tina Fey as well. Wow.
Yeah,
And it's not like they don't have time. They literally cut down like 12 songs from the Broadway.
yeah. Though I feel like for Tina Fey's thing, it's more like I think for the Broadway musical originally from 2018 is that I think maybe she did try to modernize something so that they could avoid some of the controversial stuff. Like for example, like there are racist lines in the 2004 version. So obviously they changed a lot of that.
No,
in the
yeah,
Broadway
yeah,
versions. They don't specifically target the black audience or the Asian audience and all that stuff like how they did in the 2004 version, or as we mentioned before about the whole Coach Carr thing and how they handle that situation. So that stuff is completely gone. I understand that, and those are good things to rewrite out of the newer adaptations, the Broadway and the 2024. However, there are some aspects that you cut out as well that you didn't have to cut out, like you know everything that had to do with Aaron and Regina.
yeah. They cut out. There's a lot of things. I mean, they cut out a lot of like characterization and stuff. You know, and literally the entire context of how Regina got hit by a bus.
Yeah, they treat it as being bad, but it's a joke at the same time. Yeah, yeah, that specific action that we're talking about. But yeah, I still don't understand. It's like you have a whole. I can't believe when I saw that. It's like they have Janice singing, and like we're in her point of view the entire time, and then she's at the point where she's crossed the street. Then all of a sudden, Regina and Katie and the rest of the class starts walking up the street, and then bam, she gets hit by the bus, and Janice has to turn around. It's like, what the fuck? It's like I don't know how you do that.
And then they have the TikTok
Plus,
sequence, like
everybody has the TikTok memes already.
yeah, which is like, oh, I think Katie pushed her to the bus. I was like, wow,
You also got the Megan Thee Stallion cameo in there as well.
isn't that funny? I didn't
Yeah.
laugh.
What is it called? I think one of my main things about this too is like in the 2004 version, it was just Regina and Katie. Um,
Katie.
so nobody else was there. I mean, people were starting to walk out, but at that point, Regina already got hit by the bus. So that's where all the rumors came in. Is like I heard she pushed her. I heard she just like got hit by the bus and nobody pushed her. So it's like that's where all the rumors came from. But here it's like they have the entire school and Katie and Regina all coming out at the same time. So surely nobody saw her get pushed on into the bus. So. But yeah, then they have obviously they have Regina explain twice that yeah I don't hate you. You didn't push me. Or anything like that. So
Yeah.
is some of the dumb changes. Dumb changes. But yeah, um, I guess like if you were to conclude anything about the 20th anniversary of Mean Girls,
I mean, go watch the original Mean Girls version. Skip the Broadway and the 2024 version. I mean, I know people who likes the movie. I talk to them all the time. But
yeah, half the school sees Regina get hit with a bus, but that rumor still spreads somehow.
yeah, yeah, it's a ridiculous movie. You're literally filling the gaps with with the original movie in mind. It's like
Yeah,
it's like this Disney Channel, like not Disney Channels, like the Disney remakes. It's like, yeah, you're technically watching the same thing, but you're literally filling a gap with the original movie you loved in mind. Well, ignoring like what they forgot to present in the movies.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say this. Uh, stop with the remakes because let's be real. Everyone's tired of remakes, reboots. That doesn't make any sense at all.
I
And
guess it's
trust,
yeah.
yeah. And if you really want to do a remake, just do Heathers with the musical. At least that musical is actually good and being praised.
So I guess this is a fun question to end this pod on, since we did a pretty bad job on the intro. That's okay. What kind of thing would you actually legitimately want to see a musical of?
Well, that's a question because there's a lot of things that's musical. Even Beetlejuice has a musical.
Yeah,
Oh, let me see. There's great. I know it's like Uh, um, to be honest, huh? I'm not sure yet because it's quite a tough question. I will think about. I'll give you just give me a bit of time. I can think of something.
Yeah,
Huh?
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim. Oh, actually, that's a fun. That's actually funny. Me, it's like, to be honest, we should really do like. Do we have like Star Wars the musical?
Star Wars the musical.
Maybe. Uh, I mean, to be honest,
Um,
yeah.
it's more of like a fan made, not like a legit one.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like maybe the Breakfast Club the musical.
I've seen some
Nah,
people say Buffy.
mm, so not really. Nah, I mean, there's a Buffy episode about a musical, so not too bad. Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, to be honest, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Stanley Kubrick is shot.
Shining musical.
Yeah, I mean, they have even have Valley Girl the musical, and no one even knows the original Valley Girl. I don't know that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
somehow they do. Yeah, I mean, they have A Star Is Born, which is a musical. Rocketman, Wonka, that is a musical for some reason. To be honest, we should actually do Hocus Pocus as a musical. Somehow that isn't, and that has song and dances.
oh yeah,
Oh,
some good ideas. Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings, yeah,
The Witcher, The Witcher musical,
yeah. Oh, Scream the musical,
Scream the musical. That would be funny.
yeah,
That I think it'd be creative if they use like musical tropes. Well, just as a homage to like the whole horror movie tropes. It'd be interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
That that was Mean Girls 20th anniversary. I really love the movie, the original movie from 2004.
yeah.
I don't like the adaptations as much. I think the Broadway musical has decent ideas in it, in terms of additions at least, but I still feel like it gets kind of bogged down with the music aspect. Um, okay, yeah, we're not doing that. The human centipede.
Uh-huh. Go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
Alien the musical. That was
Alien
fun.
the musical. Yeah, there's only 24 version. I mean, there's a reason why it's not talked about at this point. Um, though
Yeah,
I do appreciate they had Renee Rapp and Rachel McAdams have an SNL skit together. That was really cool for
yeah, that was
the two of them. Um, but yeah, I hope I hope the best with everybody there. I think Renee Rapp should get more attention for sure in the acting sphere. I know
yeah,
she's been really interested since I guess Mean Girls does have success, so factor that in. But
yeah,
yeah, I hope to see her more. She's really good. She was also really great in Sex Lives of College Girls.
yeah, yeah. Let me see. Also, by the way, stop letting Tina Fey write stuff now.
Yeah,
She's
Tina
literally
Fey kind of lost the sauce.
yeah. Oh well. It. I mean, it happens. Some people just lost it. I mean, it's like it's like funny. It's like she's like Peter Jackson or George Lucas, which they returned after making the best thing ever, and just made like I don't even know how to say crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at least they try with original ideas. Tina Fey is literally just copy and pasting her original movie and somehow missed her entire point.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like the bigger problem because like it is the same material, just different times, but like kind of regress each product.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. So Unity, let's say goodbye to the people.
Bye, guys. Final week to push through.
All right, and subscribe to Unity Review and Analysis. His channel is in the description down below. Subscribe to my channel, Red Double Reviews. Both of us talk movies and TV shows on the channel. I mean, you also talk about music here and there, right?
Yeah, we. I mean, yeah, we do. It happens.
Yeah.
But mm,
Yeah, so we have all those kinds of content. If you're interested in that, subscribe to our channels. Subscribe to another Reviews Core podcast where we talk about anything that's really trending at the moment. Obviously, Mean Girls was not trending. This is more on the fact that it's having its 20th anniversary on April 30th. So that was just mainly for that. But subscribe to listen to more of that content on another Reviews Core podcast. We also have a Spotify of the same name, another Reviews Core podcast. You can find all of these links in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
see
Goodbye,
ya.
everybody.
Bye.